Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Classic Books with Rashad. Let's get into the Bible study time for the Life and Spirit Study Bible. 2 Samuel chapter 4 and chapter 5. Let's get into it. Chapter 4. Let's get into it. Verse 12, and it says, So David gave an order to his men, and they killed them. They cut off their hands and feet, hung the bodies by the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of the Ishbosheth and buried it in Abner's tomb at Hebron. They killed him. It means David's ascent to the throne was a bloody one because it involved civil war between the tribes and much political maneuvering, all of which illustrates why God's perfect will for Israel was not a human king. So chapter 5, verse 6, and it reads, The king and his men marched to Jerusalem to attack the Jebusites who lived there. The Jebusites said to David, You will not get in here, even the blind, the lame can ward you off. They thought, David cannot get in here. Jerusalem was David capturing Jerusalem and made it the capital of Israel. And spiritually, it eventually became the most important city on earth because the center of God's redemptive action for the human race. Jerusalem and its environs were the scene of Jesus Christ's crucifixion and resurrection. And there the Holy Spirit was poured out upon the assembled followers of Jesus. The Bible calls it the city of God. Verse 13, it says, After he left Hebron, David took more concubines and wives of Jerusalem, and more sons and daughters were born to him. David took more concubines and wives. Now, this verse revealing David's most serious character weakness, and that was his strong desire for women. Number one, David's failure to resist and subdue his sensual desires, led him to violate God's command, Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15 to 17, which forbade Israel's kings to take many wives, to act cruelly toward Michal and her husband, to commit adultery with Bathsheba, to have her husband Uriah murdered. Two, David's lust for women was the source of great sin, sorrow, and suffering for his family. And after his sin with Bathsheba, God sent judgment and calamity upon David for the rest of his life. Verse 19, it says that, So David inquired of the Lord, Shall I go and attack the Philistines? Will you hand them over to me? The Lord answered him, Go, for I will surely hand Philistines over to you. So David inquired of the Lord. That means one of David's greatest strengths was his conviction that God's help and direction was absolutely essential for success in battle. Thus he made it a regular practice to inquire of the Lord. So too, fulfilling God's purpose for our lives will depend on our seeking God's guidance through prayer and on our being led by the Holy Spirit who lives within us. All right, so I'll be back tomorrow for chapter 6 and chapter 7. That'll be it, chapter 6 and 7. All right, so that's it for Classic Books with Rashad Mitchell for tonight. Be back tomorrow, chapter 6 and chapter 7 of 2 Samuel from the Life and Spirit Study Bible. Until then, talk to you.